My name is David Chase, and I'd like to talk about my wife, whose maiden name was Denise Annette Kelly. One of my problems is I don't smile enough. And my wife, at that time my girlfriend, was the first one to see that and recommend that I smile more. And she was right, but it's not something that comes naturally to me. So if there was ever anything to smile about, it's her and talking about her. So if I'm not smiling, it doesn't mean anything. I should be smiling more. I was a senior in high school and she was a junior, but I think I'd seen her around town once or twice with a couple other girls, and they all wore black raincoats, which seemed very cool to me. I was walking to gym class, which is way down at the end of the school, with my best friend, a guy named Donnie Waugh. He left me and he went up to this girl who was closing her locker. He knew her. And he walked her down the hall with his hand on her, around her on her shoulder, singing a Buddy Holly song to her to make her laugh, which it did. And I felt completely in love at that moment. But the next day, we went down to gym class, and we were in the locker room, supposed to be getting changed. And he said, "What's the matter with you?" And I said, "Denise Kelly?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I think I'm in love with her." And it was obviously true, man. My friend Joe had this great Buick convertible. I would ride with him. It wasn't a brand new one, but it was just cool. And a bunch of girls would be also in that convertible, and she was one of them. That's how we really got connected. I mean, I guess there was a romantic tension in the air in that car, but I was too shy to know how to express it. Our first date, I took her to the Livingston Drive-In in Livingston, New Jersey, to see a movie called Ernest Hemingway's Portrait of a Young Man with Paul Newman. The whole thing about her is her smile. We have pictures in the house of her at the age of 2, 3 with her older sister. You look at that smile, and it's the same smile you see now. Exactly. And it always has been. We look at her home movies, the 4 kids in the family, she's always got this smile on her face. She's very probing and smart, cynical. Her mother was French, so food was very important to Denise. She could really put it away. And she really loved it, loved eating, and had a wire waist forever, like that. Even after pregnancy and delivery, went back to that. She really loved clothes, but not as much as I did. So one of our big activities, actually, for most of our marriage was going out on Saturday to make her buy clothes that I liked on her. We had no money and still managed to buy stuff. I hope she had fun. I did. I think she did, or she really wouldn't have done it. One thing about Denise is she's not involved with herself at all. We are completely the opposite in that regard. And she doesn't talk about herself at all. And she's mysterious. And that really attracted me, obviously. That's just what happens, you know. What she really liked best, and this sounds was parties and listening to music. We always had the same songs in common. We were totally into British bands. The entire British invasion we had in common. Time Is on My Side, or the Rolling Stones. I'm Looking Through You, the Beatles, the 2 Paul McCartney songs, and I've Just Seen a Face. Almost Anything by Ray Charles. Bob Dylan, Takes a Lot to Laugh, It Takes a Train to Cry. Tamarine Man. Oh, she also liked Buffy St. Marie, John Mayall, and Blues Breakers. And we always then liked the same music. As new stuff came out, we had similar tastes. Her parents didn't like me at all. I was a wise guy. I could be a sourpuss. I wasn't their kind of guy. I also was Italian. In high school, her mother said, that kid thinks the world owes him a living. And then let's go jump ahead 10 years, and we're married. I'm trying to get ahead in show business, or get somewhere in show business. I entertained her, but I didn't entertain other people. Well, this is our generation, never trust anybody over 30. She knew that I could entertain those people, and that I should. I had no interest in her. Her parents come out, so now it's her mother and her brother. There's like 4 over 30s, and alcohol. And they're talking, and I said something like, LA, the traffic, it's like, I just want to take out a machine gun and go. They thought it was the funniest thing on earth. I want to try it. They laughed, and then I thought, whoa, could they ever laugh at a thing like that? That's sick. And after that, I was good as gold. When I started writing, when I finished something, I would give it to her to read, and she would comment on it. Until, 1981, and she said, I'm not reading anything you write again. Because I ask you questions, or I give you critiques, and you get angry at me. And instead of listening to what I'm saying, you say, you just don't understand it, that's your problem. However, when it came to The Sopranos, she was there at every editing session I had with the editor. She didn't say, oh, no, move that shot, or take a couple of frames off. But she was there, and I could gauge her reactions, and she would comment on how she thought it was going. It's very difficult to tell what she's thinking. Denise never said, oh, that's really good. And she never said, oh, that's really bad. But she might oh, that's like that. Much more than she would ever go, oh, that's great. But I just knew she was always behind me. I knew what she would like. And I could see from her face how she was reacting to things. I would often, as a writer, try to see things the way she did on the page. She was my muse, there's no doubt about it. I'm the luckiest person on earth, as far as that is concerned. She has somehow shaped my luck. I'm really lucky. That's not the way I behave, that's not the way I see the world. Except I'm now starting to. They call talent a gift. Oh, they're so gifted. Well, it is a gift. And she understood that better than me. You come to Hollywood, and if you're really, really, really lucky, you make some money. Or you succeed. You get a job in movies or television. And your economic picture goes up. But a lot of the people that we knew, their wives would somehow wind up with a Mercedes. Not her. She never asked for one thing. Never. Nothing. My mother is famous as being a deranged person because of the character of Livia on The Sopranos. That was based on my mother. That person was so out there, my mother. But she was always amusing to Denise. Well, she wasn't amusing to me. Denise was the one who said to me, you got to write about your mother. She's hysterical. And what? Now you got to write about your mother. Now, I was always dining out on my mother. In other words, if we were hanging out here, I told a thing about my mother, you'd be hysterically funny, right? I did that all the time. But then I actually followed her advice and did it, and it paid off big time. In a major way. Actually, in a way, I'd be nothing without her. I don't think I know how to live. My mother was a woman who gave me none of that. I learned nothing from her about how to live. All I learned from her was negative. Anger, jealousy, fear. That's what I would have been. She cheered me up. She took away 18 years of childhood in the Chase house. She swept that away. She's not my better mother. She's nothing like that. We're soulmates, pure and simple. But when we had a kid, that kid became 100% of her life and of her interests and of her work. Now, who had been 100% before? Me. And it became problematic. When that was taken away, I didn't like it. Intellectually, I knew this was wrong. Intellectually, I tried not to have that happen. But it would always be like, Jesus Christ, Jane, just listen to what I'm saying for a change. She's very nurturing. She's always thinking about someone else, not herself. I can't tell you how much I love her. I can't, there's no way I can express it. We are soulmates. We were a unit, a tight unit. I don't think anything could have driven us apart. But what does that mean for the afterlife? Is there one? Will we hang out there? My name is David. I'm one of the lucky ones.